Treasure Island by R.L. Stevenson. Adapted by H.Q. Mitchell. Published M.N. Publications 2008.
Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope you are all in a good health. Welcome back. May the universe bless you in surprising and joyful ways. Happy New Year, expecting your smiles to become even bigger in this new year. A new year is like a clean page to start from anew, and the pen is in your hands. So write the most beautiful new chapter of your life yet. May the Almighty empower and enable you to achieve all your dreams. Mr. Khalid Hassam with you.
Objectives: to listen for specific information. Number 2, to read for further details. And now, listen carefully to know the even.
Chapter 1. The adventure of Treasure Island started with a mysterious guest called the Captain. Jim Hawkins remembers the day the man arrived as if it was yesterday. It was the year 17, and Jim was working at the Admiral Benbow Inn. The Admiral Benbow was on the coast of England, in a lonely spot. The customers were usually local people, but this stranger was obviously not from any nearby town. He was tall, strong, with dark brown skin. His long hair hung over the back of his dirty blue coat in a pigtail, and there was an ugly white scar on his face. Behind him he dragged an old chest. Jim supposed he had been a sailor once, and watched him curiously.
"Much business here, madam?"
he asked Jim's mother, looking along the shore.
"No, I'm afraid not,"
Mrs. Hawkins answered sadly. The inn barely made enough money to support Jim and his mother, a widow. The sailor looked pleased.
"I'll stay here,"
he said.
"I'd like breakfast every morning, and a room from where I can watch the sea. You can call me the captain,"
he added. This was the only name for him they ever learnt. The captain rarely talked to them. He spent time walking along the shore, or in his upstairs room watching the sea. Once he gave Jim a silver coin, and told him to
"Watch out for a sailor with only one leg."
At first, Jim thought that the captain was lonely and was hoping for some other sailors to visit. But soon he realized that the captain was afraid of this one-legged man. In fact, he avoided any sailor who came to the Admiral Benbow. In the evenings, however, the captain often joined the locals downstairs in the inn and told stories of his days at sea. Stories of robbing and sinking ships, of bloody murders, and the horrible punishments that pirates used, such as making people walk the plank. His most frightening stories were about Captain Flint, a pirate famous in England and all over the world. Flint was dead now, but he had robbed so many ships and murdered so many people that just hearing his name frightened the villagers. Jim was afraid that the captain would keep people away from the inn. Once they got used to him, however, they found the captain quite interesting. All, nothing very exciting had ever happened until he came to the Admiral Benbow. As for Jim, he was not afraid of the captain. However, he often wondered about the one-legged man the captain was watching for. This one-legged sailor seemed to be one of the two men that the captain was afraid of. The other one was Dr. Livesey. Dr. Livesey was an old friend of Jim's family. One evening he came to dinner. There were quite a few guests at the Admiral Benbow that evening, all eating and talking together. The captain was there too. Jim noticed the difference between the doctor, who had tidy clothes, a clean white wig, and pleasant manners, and the captain. As usual, their guest wore his dirty coat, and his white scar showed horribly on his red face. Suddenly, the captain hit his hand on the table. This was the signal for people to stop talking, because he was ready to tell one of his stories. Silence fell over the room. Dr. Livesey, however, ignored the captain and continued talking with Mrs. Hawkins. The captain, in surprise, then shouted,
"Silence there!"
Were you addressing me, sir?
The doctor asked politely.
"Yes, I was."
The captain shouted back. To show he was serious, he pulled out a knife and pointed it at the doctor.
I have just one thing to say to you.
Dr. Livesey replied, in a calm voice.
I am not just a doctor, but also a magistrate. Put that knife in your pocket right now, or you will be arrested immediately and hanged before the end of the month.
The captain and Dr. Livesey stared at each other for several long moments. Jim held his breath. Nobody had ever dared stand up to the captain before. Then suddenly, with a short laugh, the captain put his knife away and sat down. Dr. Livesey turned to Jim's mother and continued his conversation, as if nothing had happened. The captain stayed very quiet that evening.
This is the end of our lesson today. Thank you very much, my students, and if you want to ask about anything in the lesson, contact me on WhatsApp number 35359618 with my best wishes, Mr. Khalid Hassam.